In section 3.4, we're going to learn about inverse functions. And all I'm going to show you in this video is a very short and quick example that gets right to the quick and dirty about how to find inverse functions. Essentially, guys, in this example, we're going to try to find the inverse function for the f of x equals 3x minus 5. All you have to remember to do is something very basic. You're going to rewrite f of x. Instead of f of x, let's use the notation just y equals 3x minus 5. And all you need to do is switch the position of x and y and solve for y. So if there's one thing you remember about finding inverse functions, it is this. It is switch x and y and solve for y. That will get you the inverse. So if we switch x and y, I'm going to have x equals 3y minus 5. And now what I have to do is try to get y by itself. So of course we'd have to add 5 to both sides. That'll give us x plus 5 on the left side of the equation, and on the right we're left with just 3 times y. Now what I'm going to do is divide every term by 3. So I get y equals x over 3 plus 5 over 3. Now you might be thinking, can't you just write that as y equals x plus 5, the quantity divided by 3? And yes, you absolutely can. So this is our inverse function. One thing we'll talk about though, instead of calling it y, the inverse function notation looks like this. We'd say f inverse of x. It almost looks like an exponent of -1, but it's a notation that means it's the inverse function. F inverse of x would be x plus 5 over 3. And we'll talk a little bit more tomorrow about what does that mean that it's the inverse, and we can talk about an interesting way of verifying it. What I'd like you to try for me is the following. So you try the following problem. Find the inverse of f of x equals, let's do negative 3x plus 1. And we'll talk more about what an inverse is tomorrow after you kind of just get done with some of the mechanics here. Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow.